Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is Andy258, and I'm going to take you through some new updates. Adobe has kind of messed things up with the Substance Painter plugin, so I kind of want to talk to you about that. Basically, they destroyed any connection, but you can still use the plugin, but you're not going to be able to use the Source tab at the top, and I'll talk to you about that real quick. So let's go ahead and open up your Epic Launcher. And you can see that I've got different versions in here. Started with 4.19, 25, 26, 27. So if you're watching my videos, it's going to be either between 4.19.2 or 4.25.4. And feel free to download those engines if you wanted to follow along exactly with my videos. Otherwise, you just have to. They make changes. The people at Unreal engineers make changes to the UI. These are small changes, but they can be substantial between iterations of the game engine. These are all beta, so that means that they've already gone through the alpha stage. Now they're in the beta. That they launch it, even if it's in the beta stage, there's still going to be bugs in it that they got to fix. But what's happened though is with Unreal Engine 4.27.2, you can't use all the functionality of the plugin, but you can use some of the functionality. So we'll talk about that real quick here. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that, the latest version. Okay. So the first thing you probably want to do is get your project set up, and I'll kind of take you through how I did that. So I would type in something like this PC. Okay, if you're using Windows 10, that should pop up right away, this PC. And I'm going to go into, now you're probably going to use your C drive. I have a data drive, a D drive, so I have two hard drives. Okay. And so you can also run off of your hard drive if you have an SSD. I wouldn't recommend that because you'll have a lot of crashes and issues and problems with that. That doesn't mean you can't copy and paste your project into your external hard drive to keep it safe, okay, so you don't lose anything in case your hard drive goes bad. So I use my data drive. If you have a data drive, you probably don't want to use your C drive since that is just dedicated to your software. That's what I would keep that at. But if you do not have a D drive, then you'll have to put it on your C drive if you don't have a hard drive, external hard drive. Okay, SSDs are probably your best bet because of the transfer rates, but they're a little more expensive. You can use a regular hard drive, an external hard drive, and in worst case scenario, you want to save your stuff to a flash drive. Now, you cannot work off a flash drive. You really shouldn't be working off a hard drive. I know people do that, but you might crash a lot using Unreal because it's such a big software program. Okay. All right. So with that said, I'm going to click on my data drive, and I'm going to show you how I set this up. I just basically I'm using. I just basically created a new folder in all caps, Unreal Projects. So you can see that I've got a project in here. Okay, I created that. You got to create your folder first. Okay, your folder first before you open and launch your Unreal Engine. So create this folder first. You can go ahead and close it real quick, Unreal, and then create this folder. And this is where you're going to put all your projects in. So you can say your first initial, last name, MOD01, and then all the way through to module 15. Okay. All right. And then I created a folder called Unreal Substance Materials. Now I have all my materials in here. I add them as I go along. And I'm going to be pulling from my stylized materials. And I find these from various areas. Adobe, as you know, took over, bought out Algorithmic, which caused a lot of chaos with how they're running in things totally different. And so it's caused a lot of problems, especially plugins. So the Substance plugin in Unreal, it still works, but it doesn't have all the all the bells and whistles it had before. But I'll show you how to get it all to work. Okay, and no worries there. All right, so again, with that said, I create the folders in here, and then you'll have to go out and find your SBSAR, and they have to be SBSAR materials, so they're Substance Painter. So you can go to Substance Share. So that's where you can find free stuff. Okay, Substance Share is your spot. I think they still have that going. So it's called Substance Share. Okay, and you'll download those, and you'll have to probably right-click over and extract it. So it's going to come as a zip folder. So you click on the zip folder, and you just go to extract. Okay, and then make sure you get the SBSAR, and then put it in here. And you can see that if I go into View and I go into List, let's see what. Here we go. I think this one. Yeah, there it is. You can see it's called SBSAR. I'm on Medium Icons. Okay. All right. So that's enough of that. So now you know how I do my management, my file management. So remember, this is in my D drive and Unreal Project. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to open up Unreal. Okay. And you may have to, let's go ahead and close it and start it fresh. Here we go. You might have to launch it first. Okay, so launch it. Okay. And it's going to come up with this. Now, if you have a project you've been working on, it should show up here. Okay. And so I have been, but I wanted to show you from scratch. Otherwise, I'd just click on that. So I'm going to go to Games. Okay. And click Next. And I'm going to click on First Person Shooter because that's what I want to use. Okay. We're either going to be doing first person or third person. And whatever you would like to do. I'm going to let you guys do one or the other. But you're going to see me mostly do first person. It's just easier. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go next. And everything is defaulted. Okay. So if you see something different, just make sure that you click on what I have here. So you can just kind of pause it. And this is where it gets really interesting here, because now I got to tell it where I want it to go. So I'm going to click on this guy right here. And I'm going to click on the folder in my D drive. Okay, set this one right here. So select folder. So that's my main folder. So I'm going to have all of my other projects in here. So select folder. And then I'm going to name my folder. Now I've already got JByers module 1. So I'm going to type in JByers. Okay. Underscore mod 2. 02. There we go. And create your project. Okay, so it's created. Now it's going to open up a new project, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so now in my new project, okay, I'm going to close that a minute. And I'm going to type in, now that I've already got it in there, I'm just going to go to my PC. And I'm going to go double check and show you where everything is at. So now I'm going to go into Unreal Projects, and you can see it created a new folder for me. Okay, all right. So content is where we're going to have all of our content. Okay, so I'm going to basically leave that open for now. Minimize that, and I'm going to go back to my Unreal, and I'm going to go to content. I'm going to click on this content folder, and in here I'm going to put in a new folder and call that Substance. All right, and I can say, and then I can type in materials. Now I'm not going to put a space in there, it won't let me, or it'll give me a warning if I do, and I'm going to hit enter. So there's Substance materials. So that's where all my materials are going to be. So I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to click on a new folder. And let's call this grass or mud or whatever. I'm going to call this bones. Okay, just for fun. And hit enter. So now I'm going to click just minimize this. I'm going to go back into my PC, and now I'm going to start moving things around. So the next thing I'm going to do here is you can see that we've got Unreal Projects, we've got Module 2 and Content, and now you can see, whoops, Substance Material, there it is, and the bones, okay? So what I have to do now is I'm going to open up my Substance Materials, and I'm going to look for Stylized Materials. I'm going to look for my bones here. Let me make it a little easier for me to see this. Okay, let's just do list. There we go. So there's my stylized grave bone. So I'm going to move that over here. Okay. And then with Unreal Open, okay, I'm going to move that off to the side. Okay, I'm going to open that up to bones. And it says drop files here, or right click and create a content. So it's easier just to drop files in. So as long as it's named SBSAR, you're good to go. Now, before we can do that, there usually is, let's go ahead and open this up all the way. It says new plugins are available. So I'm going to click on Manage Plugins, and I'm going to type in Substance. You're going to have to do this first. Substance, there it is. The plugin is in there, so you'll have to download that from the marketplace. Okay. And when you restart Unreal, it should show up. So click on Enable. Okay. It's going to give you a warning, Unreal Editor must be restarted, so restart now. Okay. All right. And so we're good there, so we'll close that. Go to my content, go to Substance Material, open up bones, and now we're ready to rock and roll. So let's move that over to the side. And so now we're ready to go click on highlight, stylized grave bones, and just drag and drop. And there we go. Let's close that. Options. So create material. Everything should be set up properly for you. So just click on import. Give it a chance to import. There we go. And what I'd highly recommend now with your scene open is to save this. So save all. Say save all. Okay. Save selected. There we go. So now you're saved. And then I would even go in here and go to File, Save Current As. And with this, I'm just gonna put my first initial last name. And we can type in whatever you want. Module 1, I don't know, start. And then 01. And save it. There we go. So I saved my new material, and I also saved, and then save all, and then I saved by going to my entire scene, save current as. So that's really important to do those two. And so it's pretty easy. Go to geometry, drag and drop a box in here, and you can move around like you can in Maya. And so let's go ahead and pop that in there. Okay, so I can double click on this, and this comes up with the material. Okay, you can kind of rotate around to see what the material looks like, which is kind of fun. Okay, great. You can also go in here to stylize grave bones. I think if I click on that, the red box, and that allows you to change. Now, every material is different, so you may have materials that allow you to change a lot of things. Okay, and you can experiment with this stuff. I'm not going to go through all this stuff. Because this really doesn't have a lot in there I can change. Okay, so you could actually turn off the normal map if you don't want that on. You can turn off the roughness map. You can turn off the metallic map, the height map. So there are things you can do. There's not a whole lot of things you can do here. As far as the ground roughness, you can change. There's a lot of things you can change. So go ahead and your material is going to be different, obviously. So you can make changes here. And then when you're done making changes, you have to click on save, otherwise it won't save. Okay? So when you make changes, you have to save. So go ahead and close that. So that's what makes Substance materials so impressive, easy to work with, and a lot of fun, because you could probably have mud with water in there, and you could probably turn the water up or down, and it would be really cool. It's really neat, especially for grass and grounds and muds and stuff like that. Okay. Um, Again, you can just drag and drop. Okay. And with that done, you can continue to drag and drop materials. Now go slow. And when you drag and drop materials, what I would do is I would save your scene, because I've had problems with some Substance Painter materials crashing Unreal, depending on your system. Okay. I've had a lot of students say that. So just be careful, you know. Okay, with that said, you can hit the F key, just kind of move around, just like in Maya, rotate around the object. The F key is in Frank, and continue dragging and dropping your materials in there. Okay, now materials can be changed here too. Let's go in here and move around. You can change the scale and rotation of these materials under the surface properties. Okay. All right, have fun, enjoy. That's how you can easily use Substance Painter. You don't have to go up here and do source. If you click on it, it will take you nowhere. It doesn't really work anymore. So that's the only thing that doesn't work. The rest, this is how you can manually import your materials. So hopefully this helps and solves some issues you guys were having. If you have any more questions, email me at jbyers3@jcc.edu. I'm happy to answer your questions, and I will see you guys soon.